Okay, team. So I'm just gonna say thank you, everyone, for staying on board, and that was some great information that Ken gave us, which was fantastic. So, the number one goal that the question I get from a lot of people is, Clarence, how do I eat properly to, get into a better position for weight? And what happens for a lot of people is that they tend to follow these fad diets, or if they're trying to lose a lot of weight, lose weight, they tend to not eat at all, starve themselves, trying to actually lose body weight, things of that nature. And what typically tends to happen is that most people that lose weight end up losing a lot of muscle instead of actually losing fat. People tend to try and take stimulants to increase their energy. There's a lot of things that are just not sustainable to help you to get into your ideal physique. So what I always go back to is I ask people is that if you had a child and that child was an athlete, what would you do for them to help them to perform better? The same thing that applies to our children that are athletes, it actually applies to us. But even more so, the older we get, the less room we have for error. We can't make those same mistakes. A lot of things we try to do is stay up late at night, get up early in the morning, try to perform at a high level, and you can't do it. Stimulating your body with caffeine, starving your body in the morning, going out exercising without anything in your body, not going the whole day without eating. You can't do those things. Even when it comes to intermittent fasting, as well as intermittent fasting appears to work to lose weight. What most people are doing, you're actually losing muscle, and you're actually losing a lot of energy, and you're throwing your metabolism off. So there's a lot of misinformation out there that people are following that is not adequate for you to perform at your highest level, help you to prevent disease, help you to have high energy, help you to gain lean muscle and reduce body fat at the same time. So I wanted to go through a few quick things with you real fast. I want to recommend a couple books for you, videos, things like that, and then answer some of your questions. So what I always recommend for people is that, you always want to follow a training program that like an athlete. Don't focus so much on losing body fat. Just focus on performing at your highest level. And the most important thing you can do for good health, from my perspective, one of the things that have helped me, I'll be 50 this year, and I feel amazing. One of the things I do is I always try to do is I don't give it as much as lately because of this homeschooling thing is throwing me off completely. Is sleep. The most important thing you can do for yourself is sleep. If you want to reduce your body fat and build lean muscle, the most important number one thing you can do is sleep. All right. So whatever you're doing, if you're getting only 6 hours of sleep, you want to try to get an hour or two extra of sleep into your lifestyle. That's the most important thing is sleep. Even if you got to take naps in the middle of the day, I'm going to mute somebody again. Maria, you keep unmuting your mic on us, Maria. Is actually sleep. So sleep, then it comes down to nutrition. It comes down to timing of your meals. It comes down to make sure that you're having balanced meals throughout the day. All those various components. So before I go too far into this, I'm not going to go too much into detail right away. I want to answer more of your questions at first. I want you all to look at there's a book that you can read by Jackie Warner. I recommend this quite a few times. It's actually on the website, on the lifestyle page of the website. It's a funny title, but it is what it is. It's This Is Why You're Fat and How to Get Thin Forever. Now, it doesn't talk about, a person being obese, anything of that nature. It's about why we tend to hold on to too much body fat, wherever your level is. This Is Why You're Fat and How to Get Thin Forever. It's written by Jackie Warner. Okay, I highly recommend that book for you. It's tremendous. It's a lifestyle change for you. It's one of the best books I've ever read. And I've read over 400 or 500 books on fitness and nutrition. It's the best book I've ever read in 26 years in the fitness industry. You'll be able to glean so much valuable information from that book. It'll completely change everything for you. I guarantee you. So the main thing it's going to talk to you about is about getting your hormones, you're working properly, getting your body functioning properly. And as I said before, the most important thing is sleep. is trying to do everything you can to get as much sleep as you possibly can, because that's when your body starts to regulate everything. It starts to get your hormones working properly. It helps your body to release growth hormone, which is critical when it comes to weight management, fat reduction, muscle building, things of that nature, okay? So sleep is number one. The nutrition program for a person that really wants to actually lose fat and gain muscle is actually essentially the same. It's really the same. It's really no different in terms of what you're eating and things of that nature. It's more so about, the person who wants to gain, because back it up, the person who's actually eating in a healthy way, eating, meal timing, eating often, every 3 to 4 hours, balanced meals, eating a nutritarian type of a diet, taking in high amounts of fruits and vegetables. For me, I eat more fruit than an average person. A lot of people tell you to stay away from fruit. I don't do that. I eat about 4 servings of fruit a day, sometimes 5. I eat lots of vegetables, 3 to 4 servings of vegetables a day. I eat about 2 salads a day, mostly fruits, vegetables, beans, as Dr. Red Cross said, nuts and seeds, intact whole grains, and just a moderate amount of protein. The fitness industry has a tendency, animal protein for me. I'm not a vegetarian because I love meat, but I can't eat as much of it because we all know it's not good for you. It's not good for your heart, but I'm addicted to eat. Not addicted, I'm accustomed to eating it. But it's not really that good for you. The fitness industry has a tendency to have us eat way more protein than what we should. And it's really not good for your kidneys. It's not good for your heart. It's not good for you. To be honest, most animal protein, I'm gonna be straight up with you, is not good for you at all. We are accustomed to eating it, and we have grown accustomed to eating it, but it's really not good for us. So most of our diet should consist of plant-based foods, as Dr. Red Cross said, fruits, vegetables, legumes, which are your beans, things of that nature, seeds, nuts, and intact whole grains. Now, when I say intact whole grains, I'm speaking more about sprouted whole wheat, something like Ezekiel bread, or still cut oatmeal, things of that nature. Not the ground up wheat flour, wheat bread that we buy in the store. Only thing that's really doing is that your body's assimilating it, similar to taking in candy, things of that nature. So let's start off first. First thing is that you want to get the proper sleep in. When you wake up in the morning, it's really important that you actually eat first thing in the morning before you all come out and exercise. When you wake up, your body's in a fasted state. Your body's in a state where it's in a fasted state. The metabolism is running super slow. And you go out and exercise. Your body's going to tap into something as a source of energy. Your body actually burns carbohydrates within the first 4 hours after you eat. So when you wake up in the morning, your body has no carbohydrates. A lot of people think that when you wake up in the morning, their body's going to tap into fat as a source of energy, and that's not true. Your body actually burns fat throughout the entire day. Fat is a very slow burning source of energy. So your body doesn't really use fat too much when you exercise. Even with that whole fat burning range theory that they came out with, they really came out with that for cardiovascular machines. That was really more of a marketing ploy that they gave us. That's not true. Your body actually burns fat throughout the entire day. That's more something that happens when you have a lot of lean muscle and exercising, things of that nature. So it's really important that you eat in the morning, particularly some fruit, because if your body doesn't have any carbs and it doesn't tap into fat, what is it going to use for energy? Protein, right? Your body's going to tap into protein, pour that protein from your bones and your muscles to actually use it to exercise, and which is what you don't want to do. You actually want your body to actually use protein for tissue repair to help you to maintain lean muscle. So think about it. If you had a kid that was actually going out, say, and playing AAU, basketball or football, would you go have them play that game without eating? Would you do that? I would do that, would you? No, you wouldn't. Exactly. We're no different. We have to make sure that we feed our system. Now, the good thing is that if you do eat, not a big breakfast, just a pre-workout meal and an after-workout meal. If you eat, preferably some fruit, high water content fruit is ideal. If you have some fruit first thing in the morning, you're actually going to find that you can perform better, a lot better in the morning when you go exercise. You perform a lot better. And if you do that, you're going to actually burn more calories throughout that workout than you would if you didn't eat. And you're actually going to stimulate your body in a way, especially if you're doing weight training, you're going to stimulate your body in a way that's going to allow you to actually gain more muscle later on than if you did not eat on a regular basis first thing in the morning. But then what happens with that also is that it wakes your metabolism up. That's the key, because if your metabolism is running slow, your body thinks that it's not going to eat for a long period of time. And what happens with that is that it's everything that you do eat, instead of actually retaining that food and using it for muscle building, is slowing down and is using that food as a source of energy. I'm sorry, it's storing that food as fat instead of actually using it for tissue repair. So you want your body to take everything that you're eating and use it for muscle building and exercise, and not necessarily storing it as a source as for fat. So I always give people the analogy if you had a fireplace. If you had a fireplace and you wanted to get a nice little fire going in your fireplace, right? You got a fire in there. And I take this big chunk of wood and I throw that wood into the fireplace. The first thing you're going to notice is that the fire is going to dim down to the point where the fire is going to completely go out. And then at the end, you're going to have this big chunk of wood left over in the fireplace. And that's what happens when you eat this big meal and don't eat again. A lot of times people have a tendency to eat this huge breakfast or this big lunch, especially lunch. I notice it more so for lunch more than anything else. They eat lunch around 12, 1 o'clock, and they don't eat again until about 8 or 9. The only thing they may have in the middle is some M&Ms or some potato chips or something like that, some popcorn they may have sitting at the day. I know I caught some of you. I know. So you snacking on this sugar, and the reason why your body's craving like that is because your body's craving carbohydrates and food. That's why you have cravings, because you don't have enough nutrients, micronutrients and macronutrients. You're not getting enough, and your body's craving these nutrients that you're not getting throughout the entire day. So going back to that, if you eat this big old meal and you don't eat again for a long period of time, your body metabolism slows down, and it uses everything else that you do eat throughout the rest of the day as a source of fat. It stores it as fat instead of using it as energy. But if I take that same big piece of wood and I chop it up in those small little pieces, and I'm constantly feeding the fireplace on a schedule throughout the day, it's actually going to burn all that wood up. It's going to burn nice and bright. I'm going to have this big, nice, huge, hot fire. And at the end, all of the wood would have been used, all of it, to the point where you actually could even add some more wood. And that's what happens with the body. If you chop up your meals and you eat in a specific type of way, your body will use that food as a source of energy so that you have tons of energy throughout the entire day, that you're not having these lulls. You're going in sleepy, and your body's using it for tissue repair so that you're building more lean muscle, as opposed to your body maintaining and holding on to that food as a source of fat, right? That's critical to get your hormones to working properly. And that's very important that you do that, actually, that you start your day within that first hour. So if you're waking up at 5 o'clock, coming to the 6 o'clock class, you need to be having a piece of fruit, all right? You don't have to wake up super early in the morning to have fruit. Your body assimilates fruit within the first 20 minutes. So technically, you can actually have that fruit while you're driving in your car coming to class. That's very important, all right? Very, very important. If you have some fruit, you want to add something to it, have some nuts to go with it, My body, I don't really like having too many nuts first thing in the morning. When I wake up, I like to have fruit. That's my number one thing I have, right? But then within the first hour, you have to wake up. You have to eat within the first hour. Wake up in the morning, have about 2 cups of water. Let me back that up too. Water is critical, ladies and gentlemen. Water. Now, you got to have that water. But at least they tell you about half your body weight in ounces of water, and that's true. They're not even including what you should be having when you're exercising. So when you wake up in the morning, you have 2 cups of water, have a piece of fruit in your car when you come to class, or you're working out in the mornings or the evening, have a piece of fruit. All right, within the first hour. If you're not exercising, have either a piece of fruit or have your breakfast. And I'm gonna go through with you what I recommend for breakfast, as opposed to the standard American diet or the standard American fitness diet. So it's slightly a little different there. And then you also have a nutritarian type of a diet, which is a person who takes in a tremendous amount of nutrients, focusing on micronutrients as opposed to macronutrients. So with that, if you exercise in the morning, you want to have a before workout meal and an after workout meal. That's very important. So within the first hour when you wake up, and within the first hour after you exercise. But after you start eating, every 3 to 4 hours, you have to make sure that you're having a small meal or snack, not a large meal, a small meal or snack. Because when you go beyond 4 hours, your metabolism goes right into that dip where it starts to think that you're not eating again. So you want to stay around 3 hours, 4 hours max, even if you're not having necessarily a meal. Let's say you have a job that, you have a crazy schedule, you're in the court all day long, or, you're in the hospital, you're in the clinic, whatever it is, and you're busy. You got to make sure you bring your things with you. I don't care how disciplined you are. You could be the most disciplined person in the world. If you get hungry, you're going to eat anything that you see in front of you, anything and everything. So you always got to make sure you bring your things with you. So whenever I'm out, I don't work in corporate America anymore, so I'm usually working from home. But whenever I'm out, I always leave my house with a cooler. Always leave my house with a cooler. I got 3-4 pieces of fruit in there, my little baggies of nuts. I have my celery. I'm putting my little peanut butter in my little cup, things like that. I always bring my things with me. So wherever I am, I can always make sure I eat on a schedule. All right. And don't go based on how you feel. A lot of times I hear a lot of people say to me, I don't feel hungry. I don't feel this. You can't go based on how you feel. You have to eat on a schedule. All right. You don't go to work based on how you feel, right? If you felt like you would never go to work, right? You would never go to work. So always go based on a schedule. So you have to eat within the first hour. And throughout the day, I'm going to go through the meals with you real briefly. Throughout the day, you want to make sure you have about three servings of protein, whether you're vegetarian or non-vegetarian. 3 servings of protein, 3 servings of intact whole grains or healthy carbs, 3 servings of vegetables, at least 2 servings of healthy fruit, all right? Or at least 2 servings of fruit, not healthy fruit, 2 servings of fruit. You don't want to have no more than 2 servings of tropical fruit. Tropical fruits are your bananas, your pineapples, things like that. Those have a very high glycemic index. So your body has a tendency to spike your insulin levels when you're having too much foods that have too much sugar. But you still can have more than 2 servings of fruit, but no more than 2 servings of tropical fruit. So, and 2 servings of healthy fat, all right? 3 servings of protein, 3 servings of vegetables, 3 servings of intact whole grains or healthy carbs, 2 servings of healthy fat, and at least 2 servings of fruit, okay? So what does that look like? So in the mornings, you wake up, have your fruit in the morning before class, wake that metabolism up. You got to get that metabolism going. After class, let's say we finish class at 7, you need to have something to eat by 8 o'clock, Let's say you can't have breakfast till 9. That's a good time for you to have yourself a nice little healthy protein shake. So a lot of members do is they'll bring their shake with them to class. You pre-make it in the morning. You make a nice little smoothie, make a nice little smoothie, have yourself some no sugar added almond milk, spinach, a nice big handful of spinach, lots of frozen fruit. Throw you some healthy protein powder in there. So be careful with a lot of those protein powders. I'm not a big advocate of supplements myself, protein type supplements, because I know what they put in those things and they're not what they say they are. But if you go to Whole Foods, you can get some natural plant-based supplements, protein powder like spirulina, things of that nature, wheatgrass. They have a nice green-based protein shakes, which I think are better than a lot of the Metrex fitness brands that you find in some of these stores like GNC. I highly recommend, don't mess with GNC. As Dr. Rick Krause was saying before, stay away from GNC, all right? So go to some of your healthier stores, get you a nice little protein shake. Have that first thing in the morning after class. Or you can have your protein shake before class and then have your fruits and your nuts after class in the car, if you can't eat again by 8 o'clock. Then let's go out and if you have your protein shake around, say, between 7 and 8, again that you need to have a snack again by 11 o'clock, or have a nice little meal by 12 if you're using that as your meal. But if you're having a shake, you can't, there's no such thing as a meal replacement. You can't replace a vitamin for a meal. And that's where a lot of people make a mistake at too, is that they think that the protein powder is the food. And really the protein powder is a vitamin. That's all it is. It's a vitamin, no different than vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin C. You have to make sure that you can't replace food with a vitamin. It's only a supplement to the food. So have your shake in the morning if you know that you can't eat a regular breakfast by 8 o'clock. If you have class from 6 to 7 or 6:45, something like that, you got to eat within that first hour. Have yourself a pre-made protein shake, or you can have some fruit, or You got some celery or something of that nature, you know. Or you can also have some Ezekiel bread. Raise your hand. Who knows what Ezekiel bread is? Yeah, you all eat Ezekiel bread? Okay. Ezekiel bread is sprouted whole grain, sprouted whole wheat. It's intact whole wheat. It's not like regular bread that you find at your regular stores. It doesn't have any a lot of impurities and things of that nature in it. So the shelf life, the preservatives, it doesn't have a lot of any preservatives actually. It doesn't last long at all. So it has natural preservatives. So if you go to Trader Joe's, you'll find it in the regular bread aisle, but the expiration date was within a couple of days. So you have to freeze it. If you go to Safeway or something of that nature and buy it, you're going to usually find it in the frozen food section. Okay. So you want to keep it frozen. I like the cinnamon raisin Ezekiel bread. Give me a little bit of sugar. I'll toast it up, put some peanut butter on there. I'll have some bananas on it, things of that nature. You know, sweeten it up, give me a little healthy fat. That's one of my go-tos I normally have in the middle of the day. But if I'm rushing and I can't have a meal and I haven't made a shake, I'll make one in the morning for breakfast. That'll be my meal. So the food doesn't recognize what you're eating throughout the entire day in terms of what's breakfast and what's dinner. The body doesn't really recognize that as well. Well, let me back it up. It does a sense when it comes to fasting or the benefits of fasting. But if you want to have an intact whole grain, that's a good way to have a nice little intact whole grain in the mornings. So I typically like to have, if I'm not going through like a fasting type of a eating plan, I will have oatmeal with some almond milk. For me, boiled egg whites for me. But you can also have Ezekiel bread, peanut butter. You can have some scrambled egg whites with spinach, things of that nature. But make sure you have that breakfast. But if you're having your breakfast around 8 o'clock, it's really critical that you eat again within 3 to 4 hours. So what happens a lot of times that when people don't really understand how important this is, it's critical. If you want to reduce body fat and build muscle, you have to make sure that you eat every 3 to 4 hours. You can't go long periods of time. Once you go beyond that 4 hours, I swear it never fails. Once you go beyond that 4 hours, your body completely, thanks a lot. Your body completely starts to slow down. Your metabolism slows down. So every 3 to 4 hours. So first thing in the morning, you have to eat. Right after class in the mornings, you have to eat again within the first hour. Every 3 to 4 hours after that. Okay? Every 3 to 4 hours after that. So for me, it's like pre-workout meal or pre-class meal, after class snack or breakfast. I usually have a snack right in the car when I'm driving home, some piece of fruit. Then I'll have breakfast around 8:30, which is typically for me a lot of oatmeal. Or for me, I do a lot of fruit in the morning. I do a ton of high water content fruit so that I'm not go through my cleansing phase. So from time to time, I like to go through a cleansing phase in the mornings where I'm eating mostly just fruit throughout the day until lunchtime. Then I have a salad, things like that. But even when I'm doing that, I'm still following the same protocol. So some oatmeal in the morning, Ezekiel bread, something of that nature, some protein. If you don't have whole grains, you can have your protein with your spinach, things of that nature. If you're not eating lunch again until 1 o'clock, then you want to have maybe another snack in the middle of the day. You know, that's when you make sure you bring your snack with you. And throw the M&Ms away, ladies. So you can't have the M&Ms and the Hershey Kisses and all those things in the house. You got to throw those away. So if you have them in your house, I guarantee you're going to eat them, you know. I don't even buy it anymore for my son. My son loves snacks. I can't even buy it, you know, and I love snacks. We love chocolate. So, you know, I'm an ice cream addict. I love me some Ben & Jerry's. So we can't even buy it. So we'll go out, but don't get me wrong. If you eat clean throughout the week, you still can enjoy some snacks on weekends. If you're eating in a healthy way throughout the week and training properly, you don't have to deprive yourself completely. You still can have snacks. But if you have them sitting in your house, I can guarantee you, you're going to tear those things up completely, all right? All right, so look, let's stay away from the turkey bacon too, Monica. So I know y'all love turkey bacon. Gotta minimize that thing. All right, you gotta minimize it. So breakfast, snack, lunch. If you have your lunch around 12, 1 o'clock, around 3 or 4 o'clock, that's when it's important to eat again. And that's where a lot of people have a tendency to mess up at. It's right there, that middle of the day. You know, they snacking on chips, snacking on whatever your coworker has in the office, trying to take coffee again to stimulate you. Green tea, which has its benefits, but too much green tea or too much caffeine in general will hurt you, you know. And you're trying to make up for a lack of sleep when what you really need is, number one, sleep, and also more food. You need to eat. And you can't make up with food and stimulants what you're not getting with sleep. It doesn't work. If you're tired, go sit in your car and take a 20-minute nap. Close your eyes for 20 minutes. It's really important that you do that. It'll do wonders for you. You don't want to do too much caffeine, because caffeine makes you think that you're full, and it makes you not want to eat. You have to eat. Around 3 or 4 o'clock, have another snack, and then dinner. All right. So your lunches and your dinners should be very similar to each other. A nice protein, a healthy carb, and vegetables. What are the healthy carbs? Sweet potatoes, quinoa, still cut oatmeal, brown rice, black rice, red rice, and beans. Tons and tons of beans. You got to have those beans, to keep you from having the intestinal issues from beans. You always want to make sure you soak them overnight. I love navy beans, so I'm a big navy bean soup guy. You got to have your beans, your black beans, red beans, things of that nature. Make sure that you're having that, as much beans as you possibly can. Nuts, healthy fats as nuts. Be careful with too many oils. We have a tendency to try and use olive oil, way too much olive oil. Olive oil has its benefits, but when you do too much olive oil, it can be detrimental for you, So if I was you, I would try to cook more so with steam your food more so with light amounts of water, as opposed to trying to use a lot of oil and frying a lot of your foods and using way too much olive oil and things of that nature. If you're looking for healthy fats, go with the avocados, your nuts, the fish oils, things of that nature. So your lunches and your dinners should be very similar, And what happens also, let me go back to carbohydrates. I know many of us, particularly women, have a tendency to want to stay away from carbs. You can stay away from the bad carbs, like white bread, white flour or wheat flour, the pastas and the pastries and things of that nature. But you need those carbs, those healthy carbs in your diet to flush that protein into your muscle, and you'll find that you perform a lot better. So you want to think more like an athlete, all right? If you are going out there performing, you're going out there working out, and you playing a sport, you would never restrict your carbohydrates. That's the main thing that you would have in your eating plan, are your carbs, because your carbs are your healthy source of energy, all right? If you think you're doing well now with exercising, imagine if you start adding, you can only imagine what would happen if you start adding more healthy carbs into your plan. So your sweet potatoes, your whole grains, things of that nature, what will happen is that you'll train a lot harder in class. You'll feel like you have so much more energy. And by doing that, you'll burn a tremendous amount more calories when you're exercising, and you'll build more muscle. And as you start to build more lean muscle, not bulky muscle, this lean toned muscle, you'll actually start burning more fat. So I'd rather see you build 10 pounds of fat, lose 10 pounds of muscle. You'll still weigh the same, but you'll be about 2 sizes smaller. You understand? Because a 5 pounds of muscle looks like this. 5 pounds of fat looks like that. It's the same amount, but the amount of space it takes up is a huge difference. And that's what carbohydrates can do for you. A lot of times we have a tendency to think that we should take in more protein. Protein is good for tissue repair, but your body can only healthily metabolize protein, but so much, animal-based protein. But if you're taking in healthy carbs, your body will use that more, especially if you're training, your body will use that more for muscle building, So this eating plan that I'm going through with you, not to go through too much detail right now, the eating plan that I'm going through with you, it's the same whether you're eating to lose fat or eating to gain muscle. It's essentially the same. Only difference is that the person who wants to gain more muscle is going to increase their caloric intake by 150 to 300 calories per day. The person who's actually looking to lose fat is going to decrease their caloric intake by 150 to 300 calories per day. Now, the sweet thing about this is that if you're eating healthy, if you're eating foods that are high in vitamins and minerals and water and phytochemicals, you don't actually really have to count calories. If you're looking to lose fat, you don't have to count, because your body's going to stop eating at a certain point. Your body is not going to allow you to eat but so much. You can't overeat if you're eating high nutrition. The reason why people have a tendency to overeat because we're eating foods that are dead in nutrition, dead foods. And that's why we have a tendency to overeat, you know. And then if you want to gain more muscle and perform better, that's when you have to make sure that you're eating like an athlete and not eating. Don't focus so much on losing weight. Focus more on eating to be healthy, eating to prevent disease, eating to have a lot more energy. And if you do that, you'll find that the fat automatically starts to fall off. It's going to start to fall off. And then as you say, okay, you know what, Clarence, I want to start building more muscle on my legs. I want to build a little bit more muscle. I want to actually, you know, I got down to a really nice size. My body fat percentage is at 16% body fat. I want to start picking up more. I said, okay, let's start adding some more weights to your training. Let's start increasing your caloric intake by 150 to 300 calories per day, still eating in that same format that we talked about. But now I just want to make sure that now we just want to increase it a little bit more in certain areas to get you to a certain point of where you want to be. And then maybe add, say, another day of heavy leg training in the gym or something like that. Okay? So there's a lot more detail in there. There's a lot more detail in there that we can go over. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and allow you all to answer some questions that you may have. So if you have any questions, please feel free to just unmute your mic and let me know what you got.
Clarence, I have a question for you. It's Brandy. We spoke last week and you went in detail about the carb cycling and the meal plan that's on your website, which I am following.
Okay.
And one of my concerns as I go into week 2 of creating a meal plan is that I don't want to be bored with the food. So I tried to mix things up a little bit, but still maintaining the same, keeping your proteins in there, your healthy fat, and your carbs. The issue that I am trying to avoid is trying to figure out when I switch from those high carb days to those low carb days, how many carbs should I be adding or decreasing to still hit my macros? Because I've done the calculator. I know what my numbers should be, but I don't want to get to a point where I'm eating too many carbs in a day.
Understand.
So is there a certain number of grams or is it just food items? So like adding your apple, adding your sweet potato, adding Ezekiel bread, 2 meals to kind of make those numbers.
Okay, that's actually a good question, Brains. Thank you for asking. So first, let me say this. The carb cycling, but I need to tweak that a little bit. I need to tweak it because the meal plan was put together by one of our great trainers in the past. His name is Ramsey. Ramsey is a phenomenal trainer. But carb cycling was more so meant for fitness competitors, people who had a great grasp on nutrition and eating properly. So what I'm gonna recommend for people in the beginning is instead of focusing so much on the cycling side of it, in and out, just focus on being consistent with the eating plan. Focus on just having a consistent eating plan, so you don't necessarily have to focus on so much on the cycling aspect of it. Just be consistent. Just be consistent with it. So that's the most important thing. And then as you start to read that book that I recommended for you, then you will start to understand, okay, I need to take in some of this, take out some of that based on how you feel. But if you're eating, as I mentioned before, if you're eating foods that are really high in micronutrients, all your vitamins, your minerals, all your phytochemicals, your body's going to allow you to eat but so much. So prime example, so when I eat, I eat lots of fresh fruit. I eat in the mornings, I have my oatmeal. I'll make a half a cup of oatmeal. And really that'll be enough for myself, my wife, and my son. And I'm adding the bananas in there. I got the blueberries in, the almond milk. We still have oatmeal left over sometimes because I can only eat but so much oatmeal. I can only eat but so much oatmeal. So for me, I like to just eat to just I'm full. If I'm eating every 3 to 4 hours, my body can only eat but so much. And I'm a lot bigger than most of you all. I'm 240 pounds. I'm at 12% body fat right now. So I can only eat but so much. So just focus on right now, just learning how to eat just to be healthy.
Okay.
You don't have to even worry about necessarily the amounts as much. If you eat to be healthy, eat on a schedule. First hour when you work out, every 3 to 4 hours, meal, snack, and maybe even a late night meal if you have to, if you're still hungry.
Yeah, I had to do that last night. I got
Yeah,
very
exactly.
hungry last night after my sixth meal, and I went for an apple, a half an apple,
Exactly.
and Ezekiel bread, and felt full enough to go to sleep.
Exactly.
So I do
Exactly.
feel better. I feel less bloated even after just 1 week. I'm happy you said that about just stop eating when you're full, because I've been hyper focused on making sure I'm making numbers. And sometimes I can't get through all of the chicken, even though it's just 4 or 5 ounces. I feel myself just wanting to finish the vegetables on the plate
Exactly.
versus the protein. But I'm kind of like, oh, my body really needs the protein. I should really be eating this protein, but I'm full.
Exactly.
So I'm
Exactly.
happy to know it's okay to just stop eating.
Yeah, you don't have to starve. You have to starve yourself. So just eat until you're full. Eat on the schedule. Make sure that you're getting in, like I said before, you try to get in 3 proteins, 3 healthy carbs, 3 servings of vegetables, 2 servings of healthy fruit, not healthy fruit, 2 servings of fruit, that is, 2 servings of healthy fat, 2 servings of healthy fat. A lot of times we take in, fat from bad sources, but we're not getting in the fat, the healthy fat, that we actually need. And if you do that, your body's going to cut you off. And then on top of that, if you're eating, vegetables, all your different colors of variety of vegetables, lots of greens and kale and, collards and things of that nature, your body's going to cut you off. Your body can only take it in but so much, take in but so much. And then as you start to expend more, as you start to exercise more, your body's going to want more. But it's really important that you all make sure that you're eating on the schedule, because if you're not, your body's going to have cravings. You're going to start having a lot of cravings. And that's where cravings come from. Cravings come from not having all of your proper nutrients that you need in your body. If you don't have the nutrients in, if you're not getting enough healthy fat, you're going to crave potato chips and ice cream. If you're not getting enough carbs, you're going to crave on 3 or 4 o'clock at nighttime. You're going to start craving candy, because your body needs carbohydrates. And it's going to need carb. Your brain, actually, not your body, your brain. Your brain needs carbohydrates. And if you're not getting those carbs in, those healthy carbs throughout the day, especially if you're not eating the Ezekiel bread, the steel cut oatmeal, the sweet potatoes, the brown rice, your body's going to crave carbs. And the main things you're going to start craving, like on a regular basis, you're going to start wanting candy. You're going to want turkey bacon. I'm joking, Monica. I'm messing with you, Monica. You're going to want bacon. You're going to want all the other stuff that your body's not getting. Your body's not getting. So thank you. You're very welcome, Brandy. Any other questions,
Thank
ma'am?
you.
Yeah,
I
what are your
have,
favorite food? Oh, sorry. I was
Go
going to
ahead.
ask,
Go ahead.
thanks, sorry, Miss Pauline. What's some of your favorite fruits? I know you said high water content.
Yes, high water content fruit. So pretty much I eat all fruits. I'm in the grocery aisle. You'll see me when I go to Trader Joe's. People, I'm always in that section. So I'm in there literally just raiding the fruit aisle. So my whole basket is filled with like vegetables and fruits and everything. So I eat everything. For me, my main one is I'm a Southern boy. I love my watermelon. So my melons, I eat literally almost a
Me too.
watermelon every other day. So you should see me. So I follow right now somewhat of a different protocol than what most people would follow. There's a book out there written by Harvey Diamond. It's called, what we always say every day in the class, Fit for Life. That's the name of the book. It's written by Harvey and Marilyn Diamond. And they talked a lot about food combinations, quote unquote, long time ago before this intermittent fasting concept came out. It's a form of fasting, but a little bit different than what most people would do. I don't believe in not eating before 12 o'clock, because once again, you're going through, your body is in a fasted state. But if you don't eat before 12, your metabolism does this. Now, that does have benefits from an aging perspective. It does have benefits, many benefits from an aging, slowing down the aging process. But from a fitness perspective and from a muscle gaining perspective, it's detrimental. So for me, I like to have lots of high water content fruit up until 12 o'clock. So I'm still eating on a schedule. I eat within the first hour, a piece of fruit. I eat fruit after class. And for me, most days, if I'm training, then I may need something a little bit more on my stomach. but I'll have mostly fruit up until 12, still every 3 or 4 hours. I don't count how much. I just eat, I eat. And until I'm full. I eat lots of high water because I'm always restaurant. Oh my God, you go there, it runs through you so fast. So I eat it all. Strawberries, watermelon, mango, apples, grapes, everything. Everything. And then around 11 o'clock, if I'm still hungry and I feel like the high water content food is not enough for me, then I'll have myself 1 or 2 bananas. That's a little bit thicker because high water content fruit takes about 20 minutes for your body to assimilate. Bananas takes about 45 minutes. And then for lunch, I have myself a nice big salad, tons of vegetables on there, beans. Then I'll throw some protein on there, some protein on for the, with the salad, everything, onions, everything on there. And I always try to make sure I go for typically a vinegar-based type dressing, or I may have an Italian dressing as a light organic Italian dressing. And every now and then I might get a light organic honey mustard. Because light organic honey mustard dressing is only about 90 calories per serving. But the problem we have a lot of times that we get these dressings. Prime example, if you go to Chick-fil-A and you get that Cobb salad, no bacon, no Monica. I'm messing with you. If you get that Cobb salad and you look at that avocado lime dressing they have, that's 360 calories per package. And that's a tremendous amount of calories that you want to have. Now, I don't like to count calories, but that's where a lot of times we make the mistake that sometimes we have these hidden calories in it, Or if you get a ranch dressing sometimes you're looking at 480, 500 calories per serving, or per package. And that's about 1/4 of that's about half your day, or at least 1/4 of your day in calories that you're taking in just in that packet, not including the meal. Not including the meal. So I have my salad. Then in the middle of the day, I'll come back and I'll have some nuts with, fruit or something like that. Or I have my Ezekiel bread with some whole, some peanut butter, things like that. And then my dinner, I'll have a traditional meal. That's something I like to have when I'm going through a cleansing phase. So from time to time, I like to go through a cleansing phase for my body. But once again, I eat all kinds of fruit, everything. And lots of berries too. Definitely lots of berries because you need to get those antioxidants in. So what other questions you all have for me?
So Clarence, so as you talk about the salad dressing, I was remembering we watched this nutritionist who, but he's not really a nutritionist. He was like maybe 400 and something pounds, and he lost over 200 pounds. And one of the things he shared with us that when we do salad dressing, we tend to just pour it on and not pay attention. And he said, if you really look at your salad dressing, you only require 2 tablespoons of salad dressing on your salad, and it works. And so I started doing that, and I started paying attention to that. And now I go for the 2 tablespoons on my salad, and it's not completely drenched, it's not over, and I'm getting that requirement that they say that we need in order to make our salad good. So that's something that I'm just throwing out there for people. Pay attention to that. But Clarence, what I wanted to ask you is, you talk about peanut butter. And we always hear, oh, peanut butter is so high in fat and da 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 da. Is there a particular type of peanut butter that we need to be looking at that is better for us, or the regular Jiffy is good, or the Skippy is good? Does it matter?
So I'm glad you said that. Thank you very much for sharing that. So yes, peanut butter is high in fat, but it's high in natural and good fat.
So one of these days, y'all gonna get my name right. It's Pauline.
My fault, Pauline. You know what it is? I can't see who it is because it went to my phone, so I can't see who's talking. So please forgive me, Donna. So yes, peanut butter is high in fat. But see, that's the thing. It's good fat and it's bad fat. It's good in healthy fat and it's high in healthy fat. So you do need, you want your peanut butter. I say go for it, like they say a carb is a carb or sugar is a sugar. That's not true. The sugar from a donut is not the same as sugar from an apple. Don't let anybody confuse you with that. Have your apples. Have quite a few apples a day. Have your peanut butter. Now you don't want to go overboard. Now you don't want to go over there and you got this huge thick mound of peanut butter on your sandwich or on your toast. But you do want your healthy fat. Healthy fat is critical, and that's one of the things that a lot of people are actually missing in their diet is healthy fat. If you find that you actually start eating more healthy fat, you'll find that your joints feel a lot better. You'll find a huge difference in how your joints start to feel by eating and taking in more healthy fat, you know. So a lot of y'all don't know this. I had a major injury back in 2016. I had total knee reconstruction on my right knee. I had an accident where I stepped up on the bench, and most of y'all don't even know this, actually. I injured myself in November, on the day Donald Trump got elected, matter of fact. The same day, right? So I ruptured my kneecap, and say how severe it was. My kneecap was sitting on top of my thigh, you know. So they had to really, literally rebuild my entire knee, my right knee. And they told me I would be out for a long period of time. I wouldn't be able to do a lot of things I'm doing now. I came back within 2 to 3 months. Thank God for that blessing. But thank God, because of eating healthy and taking good care of myself and things of that nature, my body regenerated really fast, faster than what they think. They said they probably maybe seen for most people. But I would have a lot of joint problems. And with my left knee, I'm bone on bone on my left knee. I mean, I'm really close to not having a lot of cartilage on my left knee. My right knee is the one that I injured. And I would have a lot of arthritic type issues at my age, and the type of all the wear and tear I put on my joints and playing these crazy sports when I was younger. But a large reason why I don't have all that inflammation and all that pain is because I always make sure I take in adequate amounts of healthy fat on a regular basis. And healthy fat has a way of actually lubricating your joints. It helps your joints to feel a lot better. So I highly recommend to people, is one of the best things you can ever do is to take in your healthy fat, and don't try to use oil as your healthy fat, because taking in too much oil, olive oil, is actually detrimental for you. Olive oil, the natural form of olive oil, should come from olives, not the salty olives that we buy in the little jars. We want that fresh olive. That's where your healthy fat comes from if you're doing olives. But taking in your nuts, if you're not allergic to nuts or seeds, I highly recommend that you do that. And if you can't do that, then you can also take in chia seeds and also avocado. You know, chia seeds are a great source, great way. A lot of people don't realize this. Take your chia seeds, put them in your shake. You don't even taste it. It's in there. But now you're taking in healthy fat. You're taking in healthy fat in a sneaky way. And now you realize you're taking it in if you put it into your shakes. So definitely take in your peanut butter. But Jiffy, now going back to the brands. Now, yes, Jiffy, a lot of these brands that we buy, they're so high in preservatives that they're not necessarily the best sources for you. So ideally, you want to try and maybe go to a Whole Foods. I go to a store here in my area called Dawson's. I typically try to buy organic peanut butter if I can. I try to buy organic as much as I possibly can, but of course, sometimes you can't find it all the time, and the prices can be pretty high a lot of times. But you want to try your best to try to go organic as much as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. But peanut butter is good for you if you're not allergic to nuts. Be careful too. Some of you all might be allergic to hazelnuts and not necessarily peanuts. And if you're buying Nutella, watch that. Nutella is hazelnuts, and it's not necessarily peanuts. It's, that's something you got to be careful of if you're allergic to nuts. Okay, so go ahead. What's the next question?
Clarence, what about almond butter?
Oh, almond butter is great. Almond butter is great. That's actually one of the things I like to use a lot more of, as opposed to peanut. That's what I used to use for my son. My son used to be allergic to peanuts, but he wasn't allergic to almonds. So we gave him almond butter instead of peanuts, but he grew out of his peanut allergy. So now he's allergic to hazelnuts, pistachios, and there's another one I forgot, which I stay away from most nuts anyway. But almond butter is actually really good. Almond butter is pretty good.
Clarence, so
Yeah.
I heard you said that we should eat something before we work out. What
Yes.
are some of the recommendations? Like, should we eat like a banana? Because our workout is high energy, high impact, brutal workouts. So yes, we need,
and it's early.
Yes, and so I'm just trying to think of what can we eat? A slice of bread? What? Give us some recommendations. So because when we get up, we're not thinking about eating. We just thinking about getting ready and go. And so now I bring my protein shake with me and I drink that after I work out, but before, because I hear you're saying that we should eat something before. So what are some things that we could just quickly grab and go that doesn't load us down and would give us that energy that we could, work out?
Great question. Thank you for asking. So as I said before, the best thing you can have is fruit. The best fruit on the planet Earth is fruit. Fruit, any kind of fruit that you want to have, but preferably something that's easy on your digestive system. All right. Something that's easy on your digestive system. So one of the main things I always have, I just grab is a banana, because I can eat a banana, while I'm walking to my car, while my car's warming up, a banana. The banana is the best thing you can have. So the first thing you should always have when you first wake up is a 1 or 2 cups of water. So what I typically always try to do is I put I put a tall glass of water on my nightstand. As soon as my alarm goes off, I wake up, I drink my water. That's the first, and it's room temperature, all right? Then I have my banana. So I usually make a cup of coffee. I eat my banana as I'm making my coffee, or I'll grab my banana and bring it with me. That's easy. You ain't got to be trying to grab something and looking at something while you're driving. Try to have that banana first thing in the morning, preferably before you even get in your car or while your car is warming up. So that way it'll be in your system real good. Bananas and everything is fast energy, and it assimilates into your body pretty quickly. High water content fruit, even more so, like grapes, melons, things like that go through your system. They assimilate into your body extremely fast, and it gives you immediate energy. But a banana is a safe way to go. It's easy. Now, protein shakes. As I mentioned to you all before, a protein is a supplement. It's an added supplement, but you never want to use it as a meal replacement. You want to look at it like a supplement, like a vitamin. That's really what you're doing. So if you're going to have the protein shake, and to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, make your shake the night before. Make a smoothie. So this way now, technically, you just have breakfast. If you make a smoothie and you have it in your refrigerator, all you got to do is shake it up, bring it with you to class. It's just sitting in your car. So after class, that's your breakfast. So don't look at it. You know what? Let me back it up. Don't look at it as breakfast. Look at it as a pre-workout meal and an after-workout meal. Okay? That's how we're going to look at it. We're looking at a pre-workout meal, after-workout meal. Okay? And that actually will get you started. But what you'll do is that when you have it, add in all your vegetables, your fruits and your vegetables. So nice handful of spinach. Spinach is one of the best things you can possibly have. It's one of the best sources of food you can possibly have. So if I was you, I would put spinach in almost everything, everything, spinach. So put your spinach in there, put all your fruit in there, your pineapple, your strawberries. Use almond milk. That's another sneaky way to get in some healthy fat. No sugar added almond milk, because when you're adding too much sugar into your diet, what you're going to learn about when you read the book, you got to be extremely careful when you start reading these labels, how much sugar you're having into your food. So when you start eating, you don't want to, when you look at a label, you never want more than 5 grams of sugar per serving. For anything that you eat, added sugar. No more than 9 grams of sugar per meal. So never more than 9 grams of sugar per meal, no more than 5 grams per serving. All right? And it's very important that you eat in this way that I'm telling you all, 5 days in a row. You have to eat really clean 5 days in a row, because if you don't, your body goes through a system. It takes a long time to cleanse that stuff out your system, and your body's not actually burning fat as a source of energy as much. It's burning off those chemicals that come off that sugar, those toxins that come off that sugar that your body's producing. So it's really important that you actually eat clean 5 days in a row. And if you do that, you can actually have a couple of treat meals on the weekends. A lot of people don't realize this. If you're training the way we train, 4 days a week, you're eating clean throughout the week, you can enjoy 1 or 2 treat meals on the weekend. Not treat days, treat meals. Treat meals. No more than 1,500 calories per treat meal.
I can have that. That means I can have that turkey bacon. No, I'm teasing.
You know what? Exactly. As long as it's organic. So you can do that. So fruit is easy. And then bring your shake with you. So a lot of times, I don't know if Keisha's on here right now. Keisha is in the class, and you all have seen Keisha in quite a few things. Keisha left already. I've been knowing Keisha actually since we was in college at Howard. We came in 1988. We old folks, guys, so we getting old. I've been knowing Keisha since 1988 when we both came in Howard as freshmen. And I've been training Keisha for the past 12 years now, I think. And she looks absolutely amazing. She just turned 50 and looks phenomenal, you know. And she's been eating the way I'm telling you all now for a very long time, And one of the main things she always does right after class, she'll have that shake, you know, a healthy shake, that fruit, you know, the vegetables, all those kind of things. So I'm actually going to post her success story, more of a testimonial this week, along with her pictures. She just did a wedding the other day in New Jersey, and her family was just blown away how she was twice their age, and she looked like a teenager. You know, she looks absolutely amazing. And it goes back to what I was saying to you before. You know, eating before class, having that shake after class, and eating on a schedule every 3 to 4 hours. Getting in that sleep. Keisha getting so much sleep that she's been late to class every day for 12 years. Time Warner was saying, Keisha come to class late every day for 12 years. So have that shake. So have that fruit. Pauline, have that fruit. Have that shake right after class. Let's say you don't have a shake. Have the fruit again. You know, have the fruit again. And then you can make up the difference on that next meal. You know, let's say you want to come back home, you want to have something a little bit more filling. You know, at 9 o'clock, you want to have your oatmeal, you know. Still cut oatmeal takes a little longer to make, so I have a tendency not to make it as much anymore, as much as I usually make it. It takes a long time to make. And then a fast, quick oatmeal has really no nutrients in it. Don't let them lie to you about what's in all those packages. It really has no nutrients in it at all. And then your body actually assimilates it like sugar because it's so ground up. Your body's assimilating it the same as taking in table sugar, you know, table sugar. So you gotta be real careful with some of these quick meals, quick this, quick that, quick this. It's quick for a reason, you know, and then your body takes it in immediately as sugar, okay? So a great way to go if you're a protein eater, if you're a meat eater, have yourself some scrambled egg whites with some spinach in the morning. That's a great way to go. If you got time, take in your still cut oatmeal. Just learn how to make it. Take some practice. When you're adding the sweetness to it, be careful with adding a whole bunch of honey and all this other extra stuff into it. It's better for you to use, I would recommend, stevia, something like that. You know, it takes a minute. If you're not used to taking this stevia, you're going to have to get used to that change, that transition, because our bodies, we're so addicted to the taste of sugar. We're so addicted to sugar and salt and fat that we start taking in natural foods that it doesn't taste right to us a lot of times. It tastes weird. So you have to give yourself time to get acclimated to it. So what I did for my son was, when I first got him to taking in more natural foods like that, with oatmeal, I would add in a little bit more sugar, less sugar than we used to take in, but I would give him half and half stevia, half sugar. Now he doesn't use sugar in his oatmeal at all anymore, but I add in a lot of fruit. I got my blueberries in there, my bananas, my almond milk. You know, that's our regular staple that we have, you know, boiled egg whites that he has. So now he's more and more used to it. Now I'm eating even less stevia now. So now instead of taking in 3 teaspoons of stevia, now he's doing 2 teaspoons of stevia. So I approach this the same way as you would a child, is that don't try to go from A to Z right away. Work towards that gradually. And then on top of that, make a little quick point. When you all are taking out some of these bad foods in your plan, before you take the bad things out, first bring in the healthy things first. You have to support your foundation. You know, the reason why we have a lot of cravings a lot of times when we go through these diets and when we seesaw, you take all the bad things out, which gives us energy now. You have some energy in it, and we forget to put the healthy things in to support that foundation. So if you were actually putting a new foundation in a house, you wouldn't take the old foundation out before you put something else underneath, like a car. You take that old tire off. You got to put that jack under it first to support the car. Then you take the bad tire off, and then you put the new tire on. So before you start taking bad things out of your diet, I always tell people this, for the first 2 weeks, put the good things in first. And the good thing about that is that if you start to put the good things in, you won't crave the bad things anymore. Because now the reason why you crave the bad things is because you're not getting in all the micronutrients and all the macronutrients, which makes you crave unhealthy sources of food. That's where all cravings come from. It's not having enough nutrients, not to have enough micronutrients, most importantly, and then macronutrients. We focus too much on macros, which are your proteins, your fats, and your carbs, and we don't focus enough on your micronutrients, which are your vitamin A, vitamin D, your minerals, sodium, things like that, magnesium, manganese, all those things, niacin, all those things we need in our diet. Okay, so what's the next question?
I have one. So I like egg whites also. But then also too, any recommendations for what we can do with the yolk besides put it in our hair? We're not wasting food. So we're not wasting food.
That's a good question, Monica. That's a good question. So, no.
Because do you eat your egg yolks? Do you eat your egg yolks for anything?
No, not really. One, as you go visit a cardiologist. Go visit a cardiologist, and you start learning from them. You start realizing what's going on. We're taking in all this animal fat. As I told you, we mentioned to you before, I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not a vegan because I love the taste of meat. But I recognize that meat is not, that saturated fat is not good for you at all. At all.
No, I'm with you, but I'm like, what? I was just curious if you use the yolk for anything at all.
Can I say something?
I might do some painting with it. Oh, Joe, make some egg salad. Go ahead, Tawu.
I was just gonna say I've been eating egg white now for a while. I buy the ones in the carton that come from Costco. They're organic, and they're very good. So I don't have to deal with the yolk, because what I found was my friend, was visiting, and she said, "What are you gonna do with all this yolk?" And she just sat there and ate them. I was so upset. I was so sad because someone just asked me if she was my mom, and we were the same age. And I'm like, oh my God,
Lord.
What am I doing? So I stopped doing that, and I would just buy the ones in the carton and freeze them. All you have to remember to do is shake them up real good. You can use them. They're very good. They taste right, and you can do so much with them. I make omelets, I bake, I cook. I do everything with my egg whites. I don't have to deal with the yolk.
Okay,
yes.
That's the concern I was like, I don't want to waste the yolk. Okay, good.
Costco.
Thank you.
Costco.
Thank you.
So we can't see Tawu on here, but
I'm driving.
Tawu, how much weight have you lost, Tawu?
When I came back, I had lost like 60 pounds eventually, but since COVID, I found that I've lost 18 more pounds.
So you lost 78 pounds?
Yes.
Y'all should see
I can wear size 6.
Come on, Tawu.
Can I say something?
Hold on. How
Absolutely
old are you, Tawu?
fantastic.
How old are you, Tawu? How old are you?
58.
I started training Tawu back in 2005 at the Ballet Total Fitness in Wheaton. And oh my God, I used to try and kill you, Tawu. But you're amazing. I'm so proud of you. Go ahead, Tawu. Go ahead and tell them what you want to say, darling.
Now, I just wanted to say, can we mention the S word? The one thing that I found that, helped me a lot was cutting down my salt. You've got to look on the back of that label, and you have to see, cut the salt down. Even the peanut butter, when you buy the organic, it's possible to buy the one that's not good for you. So if you cut down your salt, but it's a gradual thing, like you said, everything is gradual. If you try it, you'll hate it. Just like eating before we come to class in the morning, I used to throw up with a banana. Then I could take a slice, a bite, and now it doesn't matter. I can eat anything before I come to class in the morning. Because I hear a lot of people complain and say, I'll throw up. Yes, you will. But by the end of a month, if you consistently do it, you'll get used to it and your body will change.
I'm glad you said that, Tawu. Thank you so much for saying that, because that is one of the main concerns I always get. I'm going to feel sick if I eat in the morning. It's because you're thinking about eating the way you used to eat. If you're eating those heavy foods like that, yes, you're going to feel real sick. But then if you're eating naturally, you're not going to feel so bad. But you may feel a little something weird in the beginning because you're not used to it. But your body will adapt to it pretty fast. It'll adapt to it pretty quickly. So I'm glad you said that, Tawu, that you did that. You didn't go based on how you felt. You went based on what you know you needed to do to get through that process. So it's no different. So eating in the morning is no different than, say, a brand new person starting our exercise program. How many times have you all seen beginners come to our class for the first time and get real sick? Have y'all seen that before? You've seen it, right? But they got better over those who came back. Those who came back, they felt better as they continued to train with us over time. So that's a way, same way you want to make sure you go into when it comes to eating. Don't go based on how you feel. Don't eat based on how you feel. Eat based on your plan, what you know you need to do to perform like an athlete. So you have to get yourself into that plan, so to speak, into that new way of thinking. All right. So what's the next? Anybody else got anything to add? But thank you, Taiwo. I really appreciate that input. That was great.
Yes, Clarence. So I'm just a weird person. Okay.
Okay.
Because one of the things that I realized, or my doctor informed me, is my body tends to retain a lot of calcium. That's why I don't drink a lot of milk. I don't do none of that, because it retains calcium, which is really not good for my heart. And one of the things that I find that I was doing, I use a lot of spinach. I was using a lot of spinach, but then I realized that spinach also has a lot of calcium. So I cut that way back.
Okay.
Because and it just has to do with my health issue. So what else? I mean, I guess the only other thing I could throw in there other than spinach would be like kale or greens or something to get that. Because I mean, I love spinach, but it's not necessarily good for me.
Right. Well, that's the main thing. Each one of us are different in terms of our own natural personal needs. So cow's milk is not good for anyone. As much as we love milk and eating ice cream and things like that, cow's milk is not meant for human consumption at all. So almonds, my son was allergic to nuts. He couldn't, allergic to actually cow's protein, animal protein when we first was born. So he can do a little bit now, which we don't do it anyway because we just don't have it in our house really. But almonds is a great source of protein. And just do just enough of what your body can actually take in. But the difference between plant-based nutrients are very different from animal-based nutrients. And then most animal-based nutrients are infused with a whole bunch of other chemicals also, which has a different way of our body assimilating those foods differently than plant-based foods. So just cut back, just make sure that you got enough in to make sure that you're healthy and to make sure your levels are right with your doctor. And just take in your almonds. Almonds is a great way. Almond milk. If you look on your carton of your almond milk, I don't know off the top of my head, but it has a decent amount of calcium. And that's what I do for my son. That's what
I'm allergic to almonds, Clarence.
Oh,
the only nut on the place on the planet of the earth that I can eat, which is crazy, is peanuts. That's the only nut I can eat. Everything else I'm completely allergic to.
Well, let me do some research.
That's why I said I'm weird.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
But we'll figure it out. We're gonna get there.
It's all good. Let me get some questions from some other people. Anybody? Let me say this real quick. All right. So, if you want to see yourself feel better, now this goes into muscle building. All right. You can't starve yourself if you're an athlete. Right. It's really important that you feed your system. If you want to see yourself look better and feel better, it's very important that you do a combination of those things I just mentioned before. You got to get that sleep in, right? Wherever you are, sleeping right now, get that extra hour in. It does wonders for you. If you can't get that extra hour in, I remember when I worked in corporate America, I worked for a company called Icon. I did business to business office equipment sales. And I always went to my car for lunch every day. And I would take a nap every day. During lunchtime, I would take another lap in the middle of the day. People thought I was crazy, but I always got that sleep in at night. I made sure I took a nap in the middle of the day. It was just something I do still to this day. I always take naps every day, like a little kid. Take naps, but try to get that sleep in. Try to make sure that you're getting your sleep in. Try to cut out some of that weekday activity. So that way, cut back on the laundry, washing clothes and everything on the weekend at night. Try to do it on the weekend so that you can get as much sleep as you possibly can. but try to make sure that you're getting in those adequate amounts of food on a regular basis. You will feel so much better when you're in class. You'll perform better. You'll see your body do things that you didn't even think was possible for you, even at this age, wherever you are right now. If you're taking in those natural foods and taking in adequate amounts of it, and then start taking in those healthy carbs, you'll see a huge difference, team. Huge difference. And don't starve yourself. So, well, give me some questions from anybody else. Anybody got any extra questions at all? Cheryl, Patricia? No one else? Okay. All right, team. So that's pretty much it, everyone. I appreciate you all coming out, taking advantage of this opportunity. So once again, I recommend go to the lifestyle page on the website, lifestyle page on our website. Look at the very first link, CD Fit Meal Plan for energy enhancement, fat loss, building muscle, things of that nature. Look at the meal template there. It's really just a template. But most importantly is to read the book by Jackie Warner. I guarantee you, if you read that book and you study it, it'll give you everything that you need. You will see a major difference. There's no need to keep seesawing, lose some fat, gain some fat, lose some fat, gain some fat. If you follow this lifestyle plan, because it's not just eating. She talks a lot about sleep and sugar and meal timing and all those important things. If you follow her recommendations in that book, wherever you are, if you're at 120 pounds, you want to pick up to about 140 pounds, you want to go build some muscle, if you follow her recommendations, you'll do that. If you're at 180 pounds, you want to get down to 140 pounds at 20% body fat, you'll do that. You'll learn what you need to learn to get you to where you need to be. And then I can help you to be more specific with what you're looking to achieve based on her recommendations in the book. But there's a lot of details in there that I'm not able to just give you just in a talk that I can have here. It's critical that you read the book. And I promise you all, if you do that, you'll see a huge difference. Okay? So I thank all of you all for coming out. It was great to see you again. Well, I'll see all of you all next week. Go ahead, unmute your mic for me. Everybody unmute your mic.
Yeah.
Y'all enjoy that workout last week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
That's great. That's great.
My body felt it all last week.
I know it did.
Exactly.
I know it did. What was the best part? What did you like the most? I heard you all love the truck. Y'all like the truck?
Yes.
The truck, yes. The truck was great.
We love the truck.
Yes.
So we got boot camp and yoga this weekend with our Brianni. We haven't seen Brianna in a long time, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll have some fun with some weights, do a little fun from there. And then what I'm gonna do is after this workout, we're gonna go to Georgetown for October. So for October, we're gonna go to Georgetown and we're gonna do 2 great workouts down there. We're gonna have one fun run, which will be a fun run to the National Mall. So we'll do a nice little fun run to the National Mall, hit all the different malls, the Martin Luther King, MLK Memorial, Veterans Memorial, Lincoln Memorial.
How many miles of that is that?
Yes.
About 15. I'm joking.
And what's the name of the book you recommend?
Okay. So what was that? You said what's the name of the book?
Yeah.
Oh, This Is Why You're Fat and How to Get Thin Forever.
I'm getting ready to order it now. This is why you're fat.
Yeah, This Is Why You're Fat and How to Get Thin Forever by Jackie Warner.
Okay.
The great thing about that book is that every page you read, it's going to give you gems of information that's going to put you right where you need to be. And I love that. But I read that book about 5 times. That's how good it was. And I really appreciated her information.
There it is.
I really appreciated her information. It really hit home for me because a lot of books out there, it's too much fads. It's too faddish, a lot of fads. And it was hard for me to really assimilate this information to a lot of people the right way I wanted them to really grasp it. She really just hit home. She made it very digestible for you. And then she has a lot of great, if you're still on Brandy, she has a ton of great recipes in the back of the book that gives you a lot of great ideas for things you can eat, But she hit home. So highly recommend that for you all. Okay?
Yeah. And she has it in Kindle for anybody who wants that.
Perfect. I'll order it. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
wish they had put on audio.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ladies. So have a great weekend. Took up enough of you all time.
Thank
And
you.
I'll save this and put it on video. So this way you'll see the information from Dr. Cameron Cross. His information will be there also, his Facebook, Instagram, if you want to reach out to him directly. And then Karen also has some other.
Thanks, Clarence. And we thank you.
Okay, good.
And we thank Karen for bringing up that information. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Karen. Thank you very much. And she has other scientists that are part of her team that we can possibly even bring on also to give us some other great valuable information on health and how to better take care of ourselves. So hopefully we'll be able to bring them on for the next one. Okay?
Okay. Thank you,
All right,
sir.
everyone, have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Have a
Have a
great
good
rest of the
one.
day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.